guess I'll just start recording that. I don't know how this shit's gonna go.
What's the topic?
Whatever
We
fuck-
should- we should-
whatever you want to be.
Shooting the shit?
Whatever you want to talk about. Leave my. You have to make sure that mic is.
Oh yeah. We'll kind of like half us, like split us.
Yeah, you can try. You can try. See if it'll.
For sure, we
Yeah,
good.
we good.
Yeah, we should be good.
I got some bass in my voice.
Hey.
What's all that movement going back there?
It's like a voiceover.
That's a great video, by the way.
Yeah. I guess this episode is brought to you by Chick-fil-A and Bang.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, don't
forget about the
and
purified water.
The
racetrack.
water.
The racetrack water.
Mixed with some special stuff in here.
Yeah.
What's in this?
Just
special stuff?
aminos.
I mean, okay.
Just aminos.
Okay. We'll move that out of the way.
Some trend.
Nobody wants to see my coffee.
Some trend in there.
Some songs.
Yeah.
Straight from Philly.
Oh. Well.
Big Ben. Big
yeah,
Ben
I was
finally
about to say,
retired.
the Big Ben Roethlisberger.
You seen this video?
Mm-hmm.
He's with his family, his little kids.
When he announced it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see
Did
that.
like a whole hype video for him.
Ben.
About cried.
I'm sure he cried.
No, I about cried. That's Big Ben.
Yeah.
He's he somehow has spent 18 years
With the same team.
with the same team,
Never had a losing season.
Nope.
not a losing season. So, and he's kind of like floated under the radar with some things.
Everything.
Everything's like, I'm gonna put them in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been a very low key QB for a big name QB though.
Yeah. And I don't know about him enough to say if he's underrated or overrated.
I think he's exactly where he needs
He
to
needs
be.
to be.
I think he's
I
exactly
mean,
where
he's
he needs
won with
they're
three.
not-
Did he win 3 Super Bowls or 2?
He went to
Three.
Went to
but
three.
all he
Went to
did-
3 and won
won
2. Only won 2.
That's
Right,
like,
yeah,
that
yeah.
man's
You're
got a
old.
cannon though.
Yeah. I mean, he.
But then you hear
Exciting to watch.
Tom Brady hasn't even said anything, but he doesn't think he's coming back because he's talking about being like, with his family and kids. He brought up the whole Kobe thing. And he says you're not. People expect you to play your whole life, but you won't.
Oh.
Talking about, he brought up like what Kobe said before he passed, but he was talking about how whenever he retired, you expect to play your whole life, but you don't.
Yeah.
You expect to live long, but you don't. It's like, I think this might be Tom's last year
There's
instead of chasing 10.
Speculation on that.
Instead of chasing 8 rings? But he has 7 right
He has
now, so
7.
he was supposed to go for 8, but yeah.
Only 7.
Only 7.
Only 7, but still, you know how long that takes to get
Tom,
7?
Tom, you're slacking. I expect another 7 out of
Like,
you.
imagine who the
Why
next
can't
person
you be
will
the Bill Russell of NFL?
Right.
And then you got, so like, I'm thinking of all the OG quarterbacks that are left, so like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Ben and Tom leaving. It's going to leave Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be part of another rebuild.
No.
He wants to have his line, like, everything
Ready to
set
go.
up. So I
Do you
think
think he leaves Green Bay?
he possibly.
There were some specs on him possibly joining Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Because he don't want no rebuild, and Pittsburgh's not on a rebuild. The only thing they have to rebuild is a quarterback. They have the line, they have the defense, they have the receivers. It's just they
There's
need
all the pieces.
a quarterback. So I can see Aaron Rodgers definitely going. Then it'll just be him. He'll be the one left.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he wants the Super Bowl before he leaves.
How come we haven't recruited Aaron Rodgers?
That's what I'm saying. Hey, we're
Right.
Jack.
The problem is
Jaguars
we're trying to
are gonna
recruit. We're trying to recruit management.
Yeah.
Is what we're trying to do.
Hit it in the head.
Right.
Unfortunately, I think we also need a new owner.
Yeah, he doesn't know nothing about football.
There's a couple things we need, but
You know,
Byron
it
Leftwich.
starts at the top.
Yeah, Byron Leftwich, we're supposed to be getting him if they fire, but he only wants to come in if they fire.
Ball's gone.
Yeah.
I think they did release him.
He did?
I think so. I think they released him, and they brought in another.
Byron was talking about if he comes on, he wants to fire Balk, but then bring on the general manager recruiting for like the Cardinals.
Right. Yep.
Somebody from the Cardinals.
Oh, they had a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I don't know how they're still recruiting. They're still looking, so I don't know how it went.
Shoot, we'll see.
We'll see in the next couple weeks.
Oh boy,
Jacksonville needs it.
Hey,
I think
we're going to Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, that's every Jags fan.
That's what I'm saying every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
And that dude, I'm gonna get it tatted on me.
The date they go or
The Super Bowl that they win.
yeah.
and
You'll get
the
okay.
date.
And the date.
Well,
And the
on my
score.
thigh.
And the
It's on-
score of the
And the
game.
score of the game. If they win.
what happens if they lose?
Nah, I'm not getting it tatted on me. They gotta win.
I think it's even better if you get the losing like
Well, that'd be like in Jacksonville fashion, right? Make it all the way.
Make it all the way.
And lose.
And then
right. You got to the fourth quarter and I think we'll just stop.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's hard.
Just imagine.
It's hard being a Jacksonville Jaguar fan.
Imagine how
Sure.
crazy Jacksonville will go if we won the Super Bowl.
Oh my god.
I'm talking, it's like downtown's gonna be lit.
That was what,
Beach is gonna
4
be
years
lit.
ago?
Whenever
They
we
went
almost
to-
went.
When Miles Jack
When
was
Miles
not
Jack-
down.
yeah, he wasn't
that,
down.
That was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
4 years ago?
Whenever we have Blake
Try to bring
Bortles.
that up to you a little bit
When we
closer,
have
too.
when we have Blake Bortles.
Like 2017, right?
We have Blake Bortles there. Oh yeah.
Hmm,
The boat.
the boat.
The best of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Jacksonville really did win the Super Bowl, I'm going crazy.
I say we bring.
I'm going crazy.
I say we bring.
I'm
Chad
part.
Ochocinco.
Oh,
Terrell Owens.
bring him.
We might as well
Bring
bring
him.
him.
They're-
Brandon Marshall too.
Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
I think they're all still in better shape than a lot of the guys.
Brandon Marshall,
Oh, yeah.
UCF alum, right? Brandon Marshall?
Mm-hmm.
Is he?
Yeah, UCF.
That's a rarity, I guess. And how many UCF players go to the NFL?
Well, there's that one from
Like Bortles.
They're okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
You just put that to rest.
there's. Well, he's not really like playing.
Okay,
He's living a life.
But he's still.
This dude went from playing.
talk-
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He went from starting with the Jags, then got as a backup quarterback out there in like the Rams. Now he's a backup quarterback for the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, man's just making bread being a backup.
Do you guys know who Destroying is?
Yes.
Destroying?
The
I saw
YouTuber
something today. The Chicago Bears signed him to the practice squad.
So
as a kicker,
Yeah.
6 degrees.
he's low key got a leg though.
6 degrees of separation. And actually, we're gonna have Jarris on the podcast. Jarris is was a wide receiver for Davidson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somehow knows Destroying. So it was in Orlando doing some film with Destroying, and he had a ground force shirt on.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So we'll see. I think there's a possibility we'll talk to.
Destroying.
Or just even to understand like how do you get on a practice squad
Right.
for an NFL team?
Well, I
Listen,
know-
he kicks
Well, I know.
so hard.
I know for the yeah.
So
he,
far.
he got a leg.
Got a leg.
He
Like,
has a
hey, how about
leg.
this? How about this? Can an MLS team beat him?
Shoot.
Just
For
like, hey,
real.
I'm just gonna put you up top. You just need to shoot.
Well, I know he played for UCF, but then the whole thing with like getting paid from like YouTube, and then he was like, well, I'm not stopping YouTube, so he kind of like dipped out of like the college scene, started making just YouTube videos.
I
But
did
then
not
like
know that.
since he was an athlete already, he already had the ins and outs with like different players. So like, there's one receiver he works with like now, like he makes
Okay.
those videos with and like challenges and stuff.
Okay.
So
So he made the right decision.
he has like connections. I feel like
He has many
with-
outlets to
Yeah.
to make it.
So he knows like
And
how
he's
to
still
get to
young.
coaches. Yeah,
Teams
he's
just
like
gotta
our age, I guess.
Teams just have to take a chance on him.
Well,
That's it.
not our age. You mean y'all age?
Yeah. Rico and I's age, not yours.
I thought about this on the way in. 2 out of my 3 trainers, I've known since they were 14.
Yeah.
Is
And you seen us grow. Well, you seen me grow. Aaron not so much. He hasn't grown. But hey, with me, he's gotten bigger
he's gotten bigger.
with muscle. But
Yeah.
you seen me grow from little chubs.
Yeah. And then I coached soccer,
Yeah, you coached us too. Coached me as a keeper.
which is crazy. And then we do our internship. I think Aaron did the internship
And I
the
did it.
second year. You did it
Next.
the next. No, 2 years after that, because
Yeah.
he was 2 years.
Yeah, because
Year
you had me
before.
over with a shout out him for the clay.
Yeah. So then you did the internship, and you were the only one that was like, okay. The others were good, but they
Right.
went back to school
Right,
or
right.
they went to Petro.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. But that means I like that process.
Yeah.
But I'm old.
How is that?
You know,
How is that like?
seeing us?
How is it like growing? Like
seeing
like
people grow.
You do you feel like
I
you're?
think it
like,
goes back. Oh, do I feel old?
old.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when they're like, you know, just a year ago, too, your beard was black.
a little dying on her.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not doing any midnight cocoa bean or whatever it
A
was.
little just for men.
A little just for me. I'm not doing it.
No, I seen some kids grow up now, and I see how they are now too, and I'm just like, damn, it's already been that long,
Yeah.
And I'm
So we.
and I don't even really feel old. I'm just like shocked about like how they grew into like the person they are, because I couldn't expect that whenever they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I feel like they're gonna be one person, but they turn out to be completely different.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like a whole different like person, but like they're still them.
It's odd to know a kid, and then they come back and they're like an adult,
Or even like just like me.
and then that's what I'm saying, and then come like work for you.
Right.
It's kind of like that's odd.
It's insane.
It's insane. That's one. I think it's just a rarity
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think that I would hire anybody right now.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That I would do the same, right?
Yeah.
Like if I've known, so and so from 14, then I don't know. I mean, they would have to go through the same process,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and then they have to get to know me on a different level,
Yeah,
Right.
not
not just a coach.
not just as a coach. But yeah, it's. Did you ever hear me say this is just a warm up when we were training?
Yeah, you said it all the time. You said it all the time.
Was it bad?
Like the warm up? Nah, I was athletic, so I ate it up. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there was
no,
kids
but
that
there
were-
was kids that were
yeah,
dying. There's kids that were dying in the warm up, but
Easy.
I always thought growing up playing sports was like the warm up was always the hardest thing. Like I sweated the most stretching,
That's it.
warming up, doing the dynamic stretches and the little
I always.
things. That was the hardest. Like you line up the cones and you go down, high knees,
Yeah.
sprint. I hated that, but that was even just part of the warm up. And then you got to go into the little ball touches, only 2 touches pass. I hated that too. I just wanted to play.
Yeah, no, but you can't just go out and play.
Nope.
A lot of kids do. Like just like they go out, they
They do-
jog. This is their warm up. They jog, or they maybe do some stretches on the side.
Take 2 laps.
Take
But
2 laps.
it correlates even like the lifting too. Like if I don't get a good warm up, the whole lift's like trash.
Yeah.
It's
Like my warm up is now. It went from just a slight 1 set, and now it's like multiple sets in multiple different muscle groups.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, then I'm good to go.
It's weird because it started like probably around the same time I was coaching soccer, like 2014. We had we work with like there was a soccer team, right, come over to Snyder, and what year was it? They were the 99s, so they were at Clay County Soccer Club, which is here in Fleming Island, and they came over for their preseason, and the preseason training, we would incorporate our FMS, then we would incorporate like some VO2 max testing or multi-stage testing, beep test, or 300s, and I just vaguely remember one of the kids was like, "This is kind of easy." I was like, "Okay." Like, you sure you want to say that?
Yeah. Who are you talking to?
You get aggressive.
You don't understand that this was just your warm up.
Yeah.
Correct.
And he goes, "What?" I said, "This was just your warm up."
Mhm.
He goes, "I'm sorry." I think that same kid ended up vomiting, and obviously I wasn't doing it intentionally, but I think we worked really hard, and he was vomiting out on where the pull-up bars, the dead bars are at,
Oh yeah.
in the back of the weight room. He ended up vomiting out there. Actually, let me see if I think I have some photos.
Of him vomiting.
I think so. I'm sure I can find a person who remembers. There was also a person, one of the players, we went to do a beep test, I think. And we ended up on the track for whatever reason, but we were doing it on the track. And he was... No. He didn't stop running.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
He made it to like level almost 17, which is
That's high.
really
Up
high.
there. That's up there.
I'll make it to a 7.
I know.
Right now.
I remember doing it with my ex.
I'm making a 4.
I remember doing it with my ex, and she was doing the little beep test, and I was like, let me do it with you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was cramping up. I was cramping up.
So now it's like anytime they hear that, hey, this is just your warm up, everybody knows what that means.
Like, damn.
Yeah. This is gonna be.
I'm gonna be sweating.
This is gonna be a tough or long session.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna challenge.
But the warm up is when you get better. It really is,
Yeah.
though.
Well, I mean, that means you're prepared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I started to tell, athletes, well, that's kind of life, isn't it? Like, this is just a warm up. You die
Yeah.
into something else,
Mm-hmm.
wherever that goes or whatever. But it's more of a.
What do you? Speaking of dying, what do you? I hate thinking of dying.
Yes,
But
don't
the
even
moment
say
someone
it.
brings it up, I immediately get to thinking like, what happens next?
Okay.
Like, do you ever think about that?
I'm old, so yeah.
Yeah. So like, do you believe more
Or
of
how-
like you're coming back as something else?
Like a reincarnation.
Yeah, like, cause somebody, one class I was taking in college, they were saying, what if? Cause we had to just hypothetically speak. I think it was rhetoric and narrative or whatever.
It was.
But somebody was like, what if you, like when they say don't go to the light, but the light's like you being reborn in a hospital room, coming out of the womb. Like that's like the doctor's like you coming out. Like what if that's like you're just
That
being,
sounds like the Matrix.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
That's what it sounds like,
Yeah,
right? It
yeah.
sounds like if you are somehow reincarnated into something else or another person, or it's like that means we're living in simulation.
Well, based off our religion,
Mhm.
right? We go to heaven,
purgatory actually,
purgatory.
where it's like a waiting
Well,
room.
Your religion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was brought
Yeah,
up
yeah,
to
yeah.
believe.
To
But
believe, yeah, that's
there's a
right.
lot I be questioning.
Yeah.
There's a lot I question.
It's
Like, you know what I was thinking the other day? I was driving, right? And you know how so in our religion, we don't believe in the Big Bang. We believe God created everything.
Right.
But there's also the Big Bang theory about, boom, everything was there. But, like, with dinosaurs, did they start off as, like, baby dinosaurs? Who the hell raised the dinosaurs?
that's.
Like, or did they just come out big, giant dinosaurs? and
I've
start
tried to
re-
figure that out.
Like, you know what I'm
so
saying?
many times.
Because, you know, I was listening to this podcast and they were saying,
Where's the baby?
Yeah.
Where's the baby bones?
Have you ever heard of a baby?
Where-
yeah,
Like, where's
like, where's the baby
bones?
dinosaurs? Or, like, how did they just all be grown-ass adults and then they start reproducing?
Do you know
Baby ones?
Do you know? Have you heard the squirrels? Like the squirrels. Have you ever seen a baby squirrel?
Nah.
I don't think so.
I've never.
But, like, it came to
Guys,
thought,
I know that we sound really dumb right now, and there's probably truth to what I'm saying.
I'm
like,
telling
as far
you.
as we're dumb, but I've never seen a baby squirrel.
No. You ever seen baby pigeons?
That's a
No.
tough one.
I'm telling you. It's like when they say what became first, chicken or egg? No idea. Because if it was the egg, who laid it? And if it was a chicken, who raised the chicken? Or did it just be popped out of nowhere and was just a full-grown chicken?
That's a
Well, they
question.
mutated,
Well,
right?
But like
over
again,
time.
again with like humans, when God said He created Adam and Eve,
Mm-hmm.
were they just full-grown humans? And they're like, look, y'all old right here, y'all go
you're
reproduce.
thinking they were just babies.
Or were they just like babies and had to be raised?
okay,
Like-
my mind's
like, that's what I'm
exploding.
saying.
now.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, wait, what are you talking about right
Basically, when things were created,
How did
were
this
they
go?
started off as babies, or were they started off as full-grown, full evolution of what they were supposed to be?
now? I don't know, but how did this go from?
I don't know. We talking about death. Anytime someone
Oh,
says death,
death?
it immediately pops in my head. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what happens? Or like, how did this happen?
How about this? How about just be prepared, regardless of whatever it is.
I think you just go black and then boom, that's it.
Well, once you go black, you never go back.
Exactly. So you go black and then boom, you don't ever come back.
It's like my coffee
That's
and my women.
Just the way you
right.
like it.
Yeah, just the way you like it.
Dark roast.
So I like that. I don't know. I mean, regardless of whatever religion, right? So you believe in. Just be prepared. How about just be nice? Like if you were
Yeah.
what if you were just a good person? I don't mean good as in like I'm good in front of you,
Just in
but then I'm some different against somebody else. Or how about you just be good all the way around? And just be prepared. And I think that's where like that mentality, like this is just a warm up.
always be prepared.
Like when you guys came to the gym with me that one time.
I was prepared.
right? Prepared.
We're prepared for the worst.
I was preparing for the worst,
Yeah, I mean,
and
I got to be honest. I could have kept going,
oh yeah, I would have loved to kept going. We just had to get going.
but my time constraints. But yeah, I think it's if you put something hard in front of you, and then you're like, you got through it. Then the actual work is easy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you do all the little hard things, you take your dynamic seriously. You take your recovery seriously. If you do all the things basically you know you should be doing, but you don't want to do, your game or whatever you're about to play is about to be a whole lot easier.
Right.
I think that's the same thing with life.
Oh yeah.
When they're like, "Hey, buddy, you're," I think it was 26. Like, Angel sitting there, I'm sitting there, and I'm the doctor. Literally, like, this is pretty much. It's like, "Hey, you got cancer, buddy." And my Angel's like, ball and cry. I'm like, "All right, that's great. What's next?"
Yeah, like what I do next? Like, come on, don't just tell me that and expect me to be shocked. Like I want to know
Angel's
what's
like,
up.
"How are you so? What's going on?"
I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Just it is what it is.
Yes.
You need to tell me what we need to do. So I have appointments later. I have stuff to do,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that's how I've taken pretty much everything. I don't know if that's a.
What
I think I'm a psychologist myself, so
Yeah.
it's probably the way I've looked at it was like. It's probably something that needs to be addressed that I haven't found out that it needs to be addressed, but yeah, whatever comes, we take that and then we're prepared and we move on.
My thing is always like there's always gonna be problems, but don't state a problem without a solution.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
always, you
yeah.
can state a problem, but always try to have a solution to follow. Like at least a solution that you may think would work. So like if anytime there's like a problem in life, I'm like, okay, what's the solution for it? Like I'm not just gonna
make a plan.
I'm not just gonna bask in the problem and be like, oh, I have this. Like
Well,
I'm trying to figure out what's next.
That's basically like a training routine.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is I'm not strong. Okay, well then how do we get stronger? And you come up with exercises as a coach that you feel like this is going to be the best for the athlete based on
Yeah.
their screening. So it has to be where you go through the process but here's the thing, consistency is really hard. And when a sports partner comes to you or another coach says, "Hey, it's been 3 weeks and we're doing the same lifts, can we change it up?" Well, you're doing those same lifts because it has to be consistent. If you do these exercises for 2 weeks, and there was only 4 sessions, 2 weeks sounds like a lot. It's not 14 sessions, that was 2 sessions or 6 sessions, and then they're expecting the change.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to solve your problem.
It's like lifting. You only get stronger doing multiple repetitions over time,
overload,
over
consistency.
time.
Load. Yeah, I mean,
I was actually talking to one client. He was asking like, basically, how hard it is to like the lessons you learn in lifting, like pushing through like the hard times, not only just getting physically stronger but mentally. He was like, how can I like incorporate that with life? I'm like, dude, with life when you have hard times, it's anything like when you're trying to get that extra rep or the extra 2 reps. It's easier just to give up and like stop, but like when you push through and you know that it's always gonna be better than what it seems.
yeah.
It's like then you'll feel more accomplished about yourself. You'll feel better. You feel more confident, and that's like with lifting. You feel confident after like pushing through extra 3 reps, even though you thought you were done after 4.
Right, yeah.
And so it's like anytime there's hard times in life, it's like you push through. You're gonna feel good about yourself. Be like, wow, I actually did that. It puts you in like euphoric state kind of thing with lifting.
The psychological correlation.
Mm-hmm.
But it does, there's so many health benefits from lifting.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
More
just
than
not-
just
no,
mentally,
like mentally,
mentally,
mentally.
physically,
But
yeah.
it's like a detoxifier for your brain.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I lift, that's when sometimes I get some of the best thoughts,
Yeah.
or the best emotions, where I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
I actually really do love my wife.
Exactly. Or I'll be thinking it's like, or I'm enjoying like how much I'm like enjoying life right now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought
Let me ask you. Okay, let me flip it. How does it feel to know me for that long, and then now work here or train under? Is it weird? I don't know. Like,
No, I don't think it's weird because I think out of the athletes that you were coaching at the time, and with me being one of them, I felt like you only had certain like connections, like more than just a coach level, but you had certain connections with certain athletes. Not even like a handful. It was only like a few. Like not me being one of them. It was more like a personal connection. Like you were able to talk more than just that sport. Because I remember when I was younger, we used to talk about lifting because I was lifting all the time.
Right.
So you would give me tips on lifting, and then I remember you having the widest back, and I was just always like, wide back James up in here, and I think just now, working for you now, it's like, if I was to look back and tell myself like, hey, you're gonna work with James in the future, I could see myself doing that.
Yeah.
I could easily see myself just because of the connection I felt like we had when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because to me it was more than just like a coach.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a good bit of my coaches. Some of them would be more connection,
Right.
but some of them were more just like just coaches.
Yeah.
Like, I probably only had like a handful of coaches that were actually more than just like a coach.
I think when I coach, even for those that I don't feel that I have like a personal connection with, I still try to give that. Like the way that I trained you or coached you, whether it was through soccer or weightlifting, that was me. Like I'm gonna coach you, and then I'm gonna coach you. I'll coach you differently. You know what I'm saying? I'm coaching the personality differently, right?
Yeah.
I'll do that differently, but I'm still gonna give you the same level of
yeah.
intensity, or I'm gonna give you the same level of focus or attention, even if I'm in a group setting. I'll still try to give that same individualized attention, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, okay, well, there's 5 or 7 of you, and we're all lifting. I can easily manage that. Now, if there's 30, that's a little harder, but you can still walk around. You can still individualize. You can still talk to them. Have a good relationship. What about you? Coming off the internship, and then.
I think we clicked like right away, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I had fun.
Listen, when you put your leg on the toilet to clean you were cleaning the bathroom in the other office in Kingsley. It was like day 1, and he goes Captain Morgan on me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. One leg up,
and he starts wiping. I was like, this has to be fucking funny. This is fun. Yeah.
No, but I think what it is too is that we, as like just individuals meeting you, I feel like we were more like even my first time meeting you as like when I was in high school. I felt like it was more of like a gym bro. Like I immediately got like a gym bro vibe where I was like, this is my coach.
I don't want that.
I was like,
I don't need to be a gym bro.
That's the thing with me. Just because you were lifting and you were already big, to me, I was like, oh, this dude knows he's lifting. Like, let me just talk to him as if I was a guy I was talking to at a gym.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it slowly connected more. I was like, oh, because I like my gym bros. Like the guys I have at the gym in LA.
Right.
There's all these old dudes that are like 50, 60 that see me when I was like 14.
Yeah.
And they talk to me like they see me grow from like being chubs to now. They see me grow to who I am today. And I'll chit chat with them all the time, about life or just anything going on with them, or even just a little gym bro, just funny things we've seen, or how people are doing in the gym. And I think that's why it was like it's better with Rico and I both. That's because with you, I think it was more than just it was a professional, but then there's also that little extra connection we had.
Yeah.
Just I think personality wise, or maybe even
I think you,
or just even open, pause, but open you up.
Yeah.
More to like being more open with us.
Now you sound like Angel.
You're
such a stale ass.
Angel always taught. You remember Angel saying, "I always got to keep you in check."
Yeah, I know, and she's probably gonna watch this, and she's gonna say, "I told you so."
Yeah, because I think
which is, listen,
we affect each other, man.
Here's the problem. Problem is she's 99% of the time right.
Always.
And I'm like, it's not that I'm not wanting to listen. It's just that I have this idea, in like as soon as like
It's hard to get it away.
it's hard to get away.
That's
Like,
like-
oh, I
that's
got
like-
that's no. I got to do this.
That's like
Right.
with me.
And
So you're kind of bouncing around
so
all over the place.
yeah, I
Yeah.
get that way sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, but
She had me keep you in check, and I feel like we did a pretty good job.
yeah. She and she does, you know. But yeah, yeah. I'm stale. I'm old. I'm bland.
You ain't blank. You got some. You got some spice to you.
Come on, now,
But the
James.
spice is private, right?
Yeah.
Meaning like
Not
here's
everybody,
when I
not
say
everybody.
when I say private, yeah, not
Mhm.
everybody gets to see that side of me.
Oh yeah. And I think that's why too. At a young age, I think I did see it
Yeah,
because
I think
we I was able to no pause, but opened you up to be more than just like a coach towards me.
yeah.
Just because I talked to you more outside of just soccer too.
Right.
I saw you were in the weight room when I would just chit chat
Yeah.
about lifting or anything really.
In the and it's not a slight to anybody that doesn't get to see me that
Mhm.
way. What it is eventually I will get that way,
Yeah.
or I'm worried or not worried. I don't.
No,
I don't want to be made. I don't want to be mocked. I took myself too seriously,
Right.
or sometimes I do take myself too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I take myself too seriously, then the wall comes up and I'm
So,
quiet.
do you feel like it's hard for people to approach you?
I've been told.
Yeah, you think so?
No, I think I'm approachable. But I have been told, no, you're not approachable.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of scary, which I don't see that at all.
people told us that too.
Right. But then, like, we'll be at the gym, and people will take time out of their day
Just to come up to
to
talk
come
to
and
us.
talk to us.
Like randomly.
Random.
Like some guy the other day came up to us. We were doing
Jason, truck driver.
Jason.
What's up, Jason?
Yeah.
He's this big old truck driver. Purple. Big, and I'm talking, take your power belly,
Yeah.
times it by 3.
8.
So he's
big
pushing
man.
weight.
This man was talking about he benched,
55 years old.
Okay.
and he,
Okay.
like, the
3 years ago, benched
5 something
505.
Okay.
for 2.
Yeah, for 2.
Did like a powerlifting meet,
Yeah.
street bench.
Okay.
He won strongman in the 40-year-old division in 2012.
But, like, we didn't initiate any of this.
And this
He
dude,
just started telling us.
this dude
But
was
see,
just
this
benching
is-
the bar. He was just benching the bar, and then went 25s. Then he decided to tell us he has a torn pec. He said he was all purple, no surgery. He's like, I'm 55. I don't got to worry about lifting heavy anymore. But
Jason,
when he turned
how
around
many surgery?
and his back
Was big.
I was like,
Yeah,
that's a strong man.
big.
Because his back is not just like a sagging one. It's like
Like a grizzly bear.
it's like you times 3.
Me times, yeah.
Yeah, and he was about my height.
I love training back.
Yeah, we know.
Every day.
Every day is back day for you.
Well, it's hard. It's just one of those things where like, it's a hard thing to do in the gym, and to do it right, like trying to train the back right, trying to train the lats right, right. That's the bodybuilding stuff in me, right? So,
You ever had anybody tell you that like at first I thought you were gonna be like a douchebag or something, but then when I got to meet you, you definitely
Like,
weren't.
completely different than what they expect.
Because I've
probably happened this morning.
a lot of-
yeah,
Right?
So
Like,
it happens often.
It happens often,
Like,
and for everybody watching and listening, I don't mean that. Like I'm not intentionally being an ass or showing like being standoffish or that's just how I am, I guess. I don't know. You can approach me. I feel like I'm approachable.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you.
But there's different things. I think all 3 of us, I think why we click very well is just because we kind of all have the same mindset on things. But also it's when it comes to group settings, like at fields, I'm never one to be piled up with everybody else. I'd rather be off to the side,
Yeah.
chilling on my own. And I guess that gives people the standoff vibe. Or even in high school, people would tell me like, "Hey, I thought you were gonna be like a douchebag, but you're really not." And I'm like, "Dog, I don't know what gives off the vibe, but just come talk to me. Like,
I don't know.
I'll be chill with you."
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's I think maybe it was a confidence thing at one point with me where I wasn't as confident. but now I'm confident, but I don't know. I don't mean to be standoffish.
And I mean, and on the note, with like being more open with certain athletes, I feel like, or just anybody in general, I feel like you could be to a level with somebody, but then you might have an extra connection with like certain people that you like, that you would be like, okay, I'll be a little bit more open with them.
Right.
And you would tell them more certain things rather than like anybody else, like a stranger you meet.
Yeah, no. So I think also in part of doing the podcast or restarting this is to let people know who I am.
Yeah.
And to get my thoughts out there, because I'm a really bad writer. I'm not a good blogger.
Hey,
Right.
I can't.
I'm
a bad reader.
I read on the 3rd grade level.
That's right. Hey, give me some.
But, and no, we're not advocating that at all. I think that there's, again, this is not comfortable for me whatsoever. So I'm trying to push past that comfort level and
Right.
That's good. Getting comfortable
and
getting
open up.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, and open up. So I think in some parts it's probably a therapy to talk.
Get out and
Well,
try to
yeah,
do
just
something.
Yeah, but whether you're talking about sports, cars,
Mhm.
women, drugs, music,
Anything.
as long as you're in long form, because this is like not Twitter, right? I'm not going to tell you what I don't think I can communicate effectively enough in 100 or 240 characters
Right.
what I need to do,
Mhm.
even if it's in a thread.
And
Yeah.
I think it's like
I need to actually
Speak it.
because I have to. My mind has to like go through this process and I have
Mhm.
to talk through. So I may start with one objective and be like, all right, that original objective
Yeah.
wasn't. This is where I'm at.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think it's more like psychological when it comes to open up with people, because I don't ever really think about, oh, I could open up to him. It's just like each time I come in contact with him, it's like just slowly increases more of like a relationship.
It should be natural. It shouldn't be.
Yeah,
forced.
it's real natural. It's like only certain people I'll open up with, and people always say, because if y'all don't know, Rico and I have been friends since kindergarten.
Right.
Yeah, forever.
Forever, and he's 23, I'm 22. We've been friends forever, and people always like, bro, how y'all make it work? We're like, don't ask us. It's just we kind of what we think about is like we do the same. We have the same interests.
We're really
Yeah.
the same.
And we think the same.
We
we think the same, and like we do the same. We both like lifting, so like
Right.
why not lift together? We both want to be trainers. Let's just train together.
Right.
And it's like we're on the same goal of like living like financially free in life with, being able to just wake up and like, oh, I want to go to the gym today. Let's go to the gym. Oh, let's go to the beach. Like we're on the same path, so like why not just
And that's
go together? And the way we think is all the same. You might think we see different viewpoints, but at the same time, people like, you all argue? We're like,
Our
no.
end goal is the same.
right.
It is.
Right.
And people are like, do you all ever argue? We're like, no. There's no arguing.
No, that could be a bad thing though.
Yeah.
But it could, but the thing is like, I don't ever know what we would argue about.
True, but I think you would not argue. I think you need to have a different set of opinions
Right.
to balance out.
Oh yeah, he got some
Like
We
discuss.
Yeah.
Discuss. I don't think we argue.
No, yeah, we
Because
discuss.
There's no need. I don't
There's-
think
yeah,
there's
we-
never really a need. I feel like to argue.
and we both don't like drama.
Hate it.
We don't care for drama. So like
We
anytime
all
there was drama,
don't like drama here.
So anytime there was drama, we were like, all right, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not going.
And maybe that's what attracts certain people to us versus others, is that because we're a private studio, we're not a public gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like our personalities.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're more private than we are
Yeah.
public. And I've seen enough in the public gym. I've been in that public square long enough where I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore.
And being fake. Right?
Yeah, being fake.
People out in public. fake.
So this is a struggle, right? Because
Yeah.
you don't have to be fake as a trainer. You be as extremely as authentic as
Mhm.
possible.
For sure.
But in order to communicate how you are as a coach to a potential client, you're not trying to sell yourself. You're just you. But when you're in the gym, you're
I'm a beast.
really like you're
Okay. I get it.
There's the amino, there's the SARMs.
Yeah.
That's
Side,
right.
side effect of the SARMs.
Yeah.
Pumping through
Yeah,
the
that's pumping through me.
Pumping through the veins, right?
there is probably a level of like where you see those trainers or coaches or people just be not authentic. They're putting on this fake front.
The persona.
Like,
Yeah.
the character, the persona. Yeah.
Mhm.
So like if you see them outside the gym, they're not who they really.
Right. They try and get people to buy in
Mm-hmm.
to the fake them
Yeah.
rather than who they actually.
Like what
Right.
Jay-Z said. Anytime he walks into a room, he doesn't change one bit.
Mhm.
You shouldn't. And you shouldn't change who you are. Even if you're hanging out with people all the time and it's like you don't like them, you don't got to change yourself to
Yeah.
like them. Just
I think that's
Be
why.
you.
But again, music. Well, because you said Jay-Z, so music that is more mature.
mm-hmm.
I've always been attracted to.
Oh yeah.
So even when I was younger, a lot younger, I would listen to more mature, like I would listen to Jay-Z or Nas and Wu-Tang just because they were way more mature. I didn't care for,
Like Biggie.
I love Biggie, no, like it was like, growing up there was this thing, alright, so you had East versus West,
Mm-hmm.
and then South versus North.
Mhm.
I didn't like South, I didn't like the music down South
Mhm.
initially.
Yeah.
I do now, and it grew on me because that's the taking yourself too serious part. Southern music was real fun and energetic, and it was dance, and I'm like,
Right.
I don't dance.
Nope, that's
Mhm.
not you.
Nope, we're just gonna sit here and nod, and I want to listen to what
I
you
want
have
to
to
see
say.
you. I want to see you at the club. Man. I want to see you.
Angel and I just talked about this the other day, where we were talking about
Y'all going out?
no,
Oh,
No,
okay.
where we were talking about
I'll babysit.
where the like before we even met, how we were like if she went to the club
Did she?
a few times I
A
guess
few times.
they would go in and she was like, I'm ready to go.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Angel's a very well put person.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
very
sure.
well put
Yeah,
together.
It's what I was,
That's what you're looking
I
for.
was like, yo, this is real.
She really got her shit together. That's
Yeah.
what she looks like.
So I walk into the club, I'm like, there's a lot of movement.
Hey,
A lot of dancing.
whoa.
Hey,
There was all that movement going on.
There's a lot of movement in here.
Hey, it's time to go, guys. It's time to go. Can we just go back to the house?
Yeah.
Can we play pool at the house? How about
Right.
that?
You got any
We have a
cigars?
pool. We have a pool table at home. Can we just?
Let's go play
Can we
pool.
use that one?
Yeah.
Why do we have to come here to
Like,
play pool?
can we just party at the house?
Yeah. So that's again that goes back to that
Comfort.
comfort and
Mhm.
character where I want to not show. I can express my emotion. I can show who I am, but again, I take myself too seriously.
Yeah.
Like I am a massive fan of comedy.
Oh yeah.
No. I stayed up last night on accident.
What was you watching?
Just YouTube.
Dave
YouTube
Chappelle.
comedy
Dave
videos?
Chappelle.
No, Dave Chappelle. I watched The
I knew
Closer
it.
for the 9th time
Dude, it's a funny one though. It's funny.
Yeah.
2 days ago.
It's funny.
What's today? So Wednesday, I watched The Closer, which made me then go back and watch some of the other ones, and then the Dave Chappelle show. So I watched 2 episodes of that, and then my favorite, I guess, comedy show or one of the shows of all time is Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I'm a massive Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld.
You ever watch that Brett dude? Brett, I forgot his last name. It starts with a K.
Oh, that, yeah.
But he
No.
He takes it off. He's always
hold on.
shirtless.
He's gonna be so fucking mad that you said this.
What?
It's not Brett.
What is it?
He's even said this himself. It's Bert.
Oh, it's Bert.
Bert Kreischer.
Bert.
I was listening
My
to
fault.
I was listening to Bert Kreischer's podcast on the way in.
He's funny,
Dude,
Yeah,
I love his stuff.
He's hilarious,
Yeah, he is.
but I am deathly afraid for this guy. He
Because
is
the stuff he talks about.
no. How
Like his health?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of your, I guess, closest friends, right? Is the best one of the greatest podcaster, right, of all time right now. And personality, and he's super into fitness, and you, as a comedian, and here's the thing, he's an athlete.
He is?
Yes. This is how I can talk about this, because I listen to Bert Kreischer so much, and he talks about himself so much.
Mm-hmm.
He's the opposite of my personality.
Mm-hmm.
He'll talk about, he's open.
Yeah.
I mean, open. And I don't know another individual who can drink 2 or 3 bottles of wine and then go run 10 miles
Nah.
I can
on a
do it.
daily.
Oh, I mean, I could do it. I'd just be drunk all the time.
No, he is drunk all the
Just
time.
running.
But he's a functional.
He does that?
Functional
He's
pro.
functional. Yeah.
Huh, didn't know that.
He's sponsored. Have you ever heard of Fit Vine?
No.
It's a wine. It's like a natural wine. It's like one of his corporate sponsors or whatever it is. But yeah, that dude's hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
Hilarious. Angel took me for my birthday to Kevin Hart
Where at?
Memorial, Jackson.
Okay.
It was an experience, right?
Yeah.
Like being in the show. Like, first off,
You taller than him?
yeah, I'm taller than he is. My back is taller than he is. The Plastic Cup Boys that were on before he were hilarious, and it was really fun. And then he comes on, murders it. But because the experience was, there was sketches or skits where he was talking about being on the toilet, and then in the background is this large toilet, and he's like, however they have it set up, and you can visually,
visualize.
it was a visual experience as well as it was like auditorial. Yeah. But yeah, see, like I love comedy. I love to laugh. I don't look like I like to laugh. But I love to laugh.
Right.
I love being. I'm probably more goofy.
Oh, yeah. But I think that's all three of us. We're
I
definitely
am
more goofy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's people out there that see me that way.
Like, to me, sometimes I feel like I don't ever take anything serious. But I think that's just me.
Now, I'm opposite. I take
personality.
everything serious, but then there's, I could probably just forget about it.
Like, I take everything serious, but to me, it's like, I'm like, kind of just making it like a goofy thing.
So
So,
you're like, okay,
so I'm just like, all right.
whatever.
Yeah, it's like certain
Well,
situations, like some things are just, you gotta laugh. Right?
Almost everything I'm laughing at.
Oh, I'm laughing at everything.
Yeah, I'm laughing at everything. It's funny.
I find laughter in the worst things
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
possible. I don't know why. I mean, I have a pretty dark sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't. But see, again, some of those things, like I don't let it some things I let translate into my training philosophy. Some things I will never let it translate into my training philosophy.
Oh yeah.
Because it's separate. I try to separate, like like this is training, this is Coach James, this is personal James, this is husband James, this is Father James.
Right.
Not Father James like a
Father
priest.
James.
See,
Father J.
No. Come here, little boy.
For real.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No. That's horrible.
So speaking on visual and auditory, what kind of learner are you? Visual, auditory, kinesthetic?
Definitely kinesthetic.
Yeah.
But I am definitely a visual learner.
Same. Analytical?
No.
No.
More now than before.
Right.
Like, I think that goes back into, like, as you're younger, how you learned, right? I hate school.
Oh hell yeah.
Hate.
I'm tired of it.
I know you're not supposed to use the word hate,
Oh, I hate it.
but there's a lot of things about the school system growing up. I was like, I am ready to go.
I hate.
Wow.
I did not want to be a part of it. I didn't. You know what I wanted to do? All I wanted to do was play soccer.
Yeah.
That was it.
If I can go back in time, I ain't going to college. I'm gonna go pick up a trade. I'm gonna go be a welder.
They make great money.
That's what I'm saying. I would have been done within a year.
You know who makes great money? Garbage men.
Yeah, because the city's paying for you.
Fantastic.
Great benefits.
You're done. You're done by like 12. You're waking up at like 4 a.m., but you done by 12.
Whatever shift they have.
Drinking a beer underneath
Whatever.
the tree. You chilling.
Under a tree.
Dude,
Where's the tree?
That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm
He
doing.
pulled over.
A palm tree?
No, I'm saying I'm done with my route. I'm going home, cracking open a beer, chilling. Go to bed by like 6. Wake up by 4.
I didn't want that at all. Like, I was a really bad student.
Yeah.
I was a bad student because I didn't understand the value of college. That wasn't really a thing talked about a lot when I was growing up, right? Or at least in the area I was growing up. It was about how you're gonna make a living, right? So that was talked about a lot.
Yeah.
So when you're young, you're like, well, right, how am I gonna make a living? Oh man, I gotta go to work. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So all I wanted to do was play soccer. And there was no easy avenue to a semi-pro team, to pro team. There's no like clear-cut pathway. Even now, I don't feel like there's a clear-cut pathway. It's not like football, right? Football is high school football, college football, and then NFL.
Yep.
It's a very simple pathway.
CFL.
Yeah, sure, but you're going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It was, and no one also was like, hey, yes, you play soccer in college, man, not pro.
Yeah.
So the perception was already different. And then I didn't strength train because we were told not to.
Not to.
Right? The theory was, you know, we were going to injure ourselves as soccer players. We run a lot. The weight room was only for football players. That was it.
I was told that weightlifting is too young to stunt your growth.
That too.
Right.
I you know what? I would probably be a little taller.
I mean, I'm 6. I'm
Yeah,
6
you know,
foot, so I'm
probably.
chilling.
Yeah.
At least I made my mark.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You know, y'all look some short bucks.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't mind.
I don't mind.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it has its advantages, I guess.
Now, since you have kids, do you try to like raise your kids based off like things you did wrong in life, where like, you don't want them to, or like do you try to take what you did in your life into like your kids' lives?
There's probably a mixture of
Like
both.
things like for like
You
school
like,
wise,
you like let them try and figure it out.
for like school wise, when you say you didn't like school,
Sometimes I let them try to figure it out, but I also know if like I see a certain behavior trait, where I'm like, oh, I know where this is going.
because that always.
Let me just give you a heads up. This is where this is gonna go. And they're okay. But most of the time, like Angel and I were like relaxed. We're like, you know, you figure it out. But the one thing that we're like pretty adamant about is respect. And I think that even
Respect
that
goes a long way.
that translates into so many avenues. Is how you respect an adult,
That was the biggest thing for my mom.
or
would be
because
respect.
even it goes into like other aspects of life, like the weight room. Like if you respect your strength coach, or you respect your, you know, if you just respect the weight room, you're gonna put the weight back, right? There's like an etiquette part involved, but
yeah.
as far as like raising kids, you know,
But like, do you like
I'm okay at it.
like
Not-
things you did wrong in life?
I mean,
you try
you
not
seem
to
to be
let them
doing
do.
well.
I think you
so
got some
far.
great kids.
Like,
Dude, my
They
kids,
seem very.
dude, my kids are awesome.
They felt they have the best respect.
yeah.
My
I
kids
think.
They
well,
really do.
they do. They, you know,
But that's
they're kids, right?
So tell me-
sometimes they go off sideways, but
Now, when you were parenting them when they were younger, were you like a tough love, or was it like you just got stern with them and it's just all voice?
stern voice.
Because I tell you, my mom had gave me some tough love. I'm talking. I got caught that. Hey, and that put some respect in my eyes. It was more fear. It was more fear not to do something bad because I didn't want to
But that means that
get the hand to the chest.
visually, well, because I go back to visual learning, right?
Right.
But you learn from that, right? Because you cared.
Yeah, yeah.
There's people that don't care. So when they keep repeating the same process over and over, it's because they just didn't care. They didn't care to learn. That's why you said if you're making the same mistake over and over, you didn't care.
You got 2 girls, but then you have GC.
Yeah.
So raising Mia
Mm-hmm.
to GC,
Mm-hmm.
was there any like a difference in like discipline?
Yeah.
Like yeah, so like were
Completely
you like
different.
spanking GC?
He's gotten spankings.
What about Mia?
Sure.
Not so much.
No, because there's a timeline difference as well.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because there's actually
Now the one thing I will say as a parent, the way that you parent your first child is probably not the same way that you're going to parent your third, fourth child, and also the difference in between. There's going to be same like foundation stuff. So
Chris never got hands on. Tell you that much. Tough love, but he didn't get his hands on me.
Reggie,
Like
They didn't-
how
'cause they
mom was
didn't-
disciplining me.
Right. They didn't have to do it to Chris.
I mean, I was just slamming doors in my house.
Because
So-
he gets it.
right. So Chris got it right.
Yeah.
Where certain kids have a harder time like understanding because they're either in their own way or they want to impress or
Yeah.
whatever the case is. So, you know, that goes back into some part of training, right? You can show up at 6 a.m., do your workout, and then come back at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, do your if you're in office, whatever it is, because you care. The others that don't show up, they're just going to show up to the one that's not mandatory, right? So all of it plays in part, but
Oh yeah.
as you grow as a parent, you change how you parent. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a different parent than because we had Michaela. I was like 21. No, 24.
24.
Michaela, how old was you know? Because yeah. So it's like 21, 22, something. It was. So I'm a different parent than I was
Right.
20 years like from now, right? But I'm also if you like well, I'm not going to parent the same way my parents treated me, but you actually end up.
I bet your ass I am.
You actually end up probably doing that more than you think. The same thing as a strength coach or as a trainer, you find an identity and you try to build on that identity, right? So you as a trainer, it's like, well, I didn't want to be the YouTube. I call it back in the day. I would call it like the YouTube trainer.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put clients through bad workouts, right? Just because I didn't take the time to go make the workout and write it down. Well, we're gonna do these walking lunges, and this guy's 300 pounds, and has knee problems.
Yeah.
Why would I take him through walking lunges? But that's what was at the commercial gyms. No, I'm not sliding all commercial gyms. I'm not sliding, trainers that work for commercial gyms. I'm just stating that you find an identity, and then maybe 5 years from now, that commercial trainer that was doing that is no longer doing that because he's realized or she's realized the mistakes, and it's changed. That's called growth, right? You grow as a trainer, you grow as a parent, you grow as a coach. So you make those mistakes, but you grow, right? And then you can reflect and say, well, this is what I did wrong, and we got to fix this for that. And then say you just try to go down the line. So yeah, it's different. It's weird.
Parenting is weird.
Parenting is great, but it's not something like it's weird. It's just I didn't personality. Like again, this goes back into a personality thing where I am at home. If I could be at home with my kids 24/7, I would.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
I'd rather be there. But and I don't open up to people on the outside. So I'm by the time I get home, I'm exhausted.
Oh yeah.
Like my mind is just like
Yep.
I don't know what to do.
Where's the BT at?
Shout out to Buffalo Trace.
Come on, for real.
Yeah, but again, what athletes need to understand when they're trying to say, well, I want to play a sport in college. Do you? Do you really want to play a sport in college? Do you understand what that takes? Do you understand what their requirements are?
They have the goal, but they don't know the process to get
they
to
don't
the
understand what it takes to actually.
Which is going to go back to the consistency. Why are we still doing these workouts? This is 3 weeks, right?
Like it's part of the process.
Guess what happens when you go to college?
You're gonna do the same workout.
You're going to do the same workout. You know why you're going to do the same workout? Because most of the time it's pretty effective. But at the end of the day, again, it's system. So the system is strength coach, and if their in season gets 45 minutes or maybe even an hour a week with each team. So he's trying to effectively create a workout that's going to be. So you may do the same workout with some variations throughout the season. Why don't you start that now? If you're 12, 13, 14, you need to start that now. So you understand what that means as a college athlete. For some kids, I think it's just also the allure.
Right.
I'm gonna go D1.
Like they did.
I'm a D1 athlete.
It's a great goal,
Listen,
but you got to start working at it. As if you're trying to
Is it
achieve a goal.
realistic?
there's a college out there for everybody.
Yeah.
It just may not be the number
That you
after that D that you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality. The reality is, are you a D1 athlete? Meaning, are you eligible to go to a D1 school? Do you have the grades
Yeah,
to
the
go?
grade. Yeah, the grades.
What does that social media profile look like? What
What are
does
they seeing behind things?
what are they, what are you doing to prepare yourself?
You put in the extra work in
Right.
besides just practice.
Right.
You can't just practice and not put extra work in.
Yeah, if you're just going to go through the motions, right? So if practice is an hour a week, that's 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. What
There's
are you doing the other hours?
right. There's other opportunity. What'd you do over the weekend?
Yep. Nothing. I went hung out
Like
with my
Fortnite
friends. Yep.
for
Like-
18 hours.
Like, dude, get up and do 1 hour. That's 4% of your day.
Mhm.
Well,
You got that's
it's
1 hour of your day. That's why I see with the gym. I'm like, I can always get
an hour.
an hour in,
At least.
at least an hour. 'Cause
Sure.
That's 4%. I'm like, by then I'm good.
Here's what adults, again, this goes back into, maybe it's a perception that has been created that you need 2.5 hours in the gym because you got to do an hour session on the stair climber, followed by a leg day because you think that you're Ronnie Coleman.
I used to have time like that.
As a 14-year-old,
Yeah.
but as an adult, we don't have that.
You don't need to do all that either.
The problem is we associate that look, let's say a physique, right? Board shorts, guy looks great, and I want to obtain that. Well, then they start to research what does that do, and then they follow that plan. And for some of them, it works really well, but some of them, it's not sustainable. They get burnt out, or they fall into the trap of, well, you took something, I'll take something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, whatever it is, to look good, to feel good, and again, I'm not sliding or saying anything to anyone who takes steroids or needs or nope, don't care.
It's your
Do you?
decision.
Do y'all?
Do you?
Do what you gotta do.
I've been around it enough.
Go
Trust me, I've
Do
seen
you?
it. I've seen it enough where it works,
Yeah.
and I've seen it enough where it fails.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you feel like you need steroids, then you need to go assess what you're eating, sleeping. You need to assess the base.
It's the basics, really.
Yeah.
You can't find a shortcut.
I cannot tell you how often that word gets said in my house. The basics. Like that's all.
That's
Really,
it.
really it's all we ask for.
Like, if you get good at the basics,
If you're good at the basics, dude, everything else is gonna come really.
Right. Falls into place.
It's gonna fall into
like
place.
look at some of the top soccer players. What's the basic of soccer? Is just dribbling, passing, shooting.
Mm-hmm.
If you're great at being able to dribble the ball full speed, eyes up,
Yeah. I
you're
see
able
what
to.
you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If you've mastered the
Like
basics,
like
right?
Kobe. If you master like the cross or the basic dribble, just to have able to.
Speaking of which, it's 2 days after.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, Kobe.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Being able to to dribble without your eyes looking down, be able to know where the ball is going to be, like just the basic of dribbling and shooting.
Yeah.
Look how you could easily be great if you get the basics down. And that's the thing with like lifting wise.
Yeah.
You get the main
technique.
foundational technique bases down, you could easily be a great.
And then you go into variations.
yeah,
right?
and then you start switching it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the basic stuff, right? So if you're building the foundations for the basic stuff, right? That's part of what's we call long-term athletic development, right? Is when they were 5 and 6, they're running around and they're playing, and they're not being coached to play at you're not coaching them at the playground. That's just let them play.
Yeah.
So 7, 8, 9, you give them a little bit of structure. Hey guys, we're gonna play a game. We're gonna play red light, green light.
Mhm.
Right.
But when I say red light, I need you to stand on one leg, touch your nose, whatever it is. You can progress that, right? But if you can do the basic stuff, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what did we do at I-9 last week?
We had him basically red light, green light with the ball, but stop him with one foot on top of the ball.
Right.
And it's just a progression of dribbling, be able to stop it. And then as the season goes, or even last season we were doing it, we did the same thing, and you would easily see the ball going out of bounds, and they'll put their foot on top of the ball to stop it, and then they turn around rather than pulling it back because that's a little more advanced.
Right.
But they stop the ball. Like,
And they're also
it correlates
3
with
years
them.
old.
Yeah,
They're 4 years
and
old.
they're learning like that though, so they
Yeah.
understand. Like we
Right.
tell them, like, this is how you stop the ball.
Mhm.
But we do the same thing almost every warm up.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
the warm up. It's
It's
like just the warm up.
repetitive.
It's all it is.
Staying
Repetitive.
consistent.
Getting better at the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if you can do that as a high school athlete, going and obtaining that D1 may not be that far off. But if you're playing Fortnite and you're staying up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and you're just winging it, you're a smart kid, so school comes kind of easy, so grades aren't really an issue.
Right.
You're not able to perform at the level that you think that you can perform. So again, where kids think they are,
Mm-hmm.
where they really are, that's where I come in. Like, dude, this is where you're at. This is what I see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you see, and you can tell me if you see or feel something different. And if you do, tell me why, and let's see if we can help you with that. But here's where some of the deficits lie, and then here's where some of the pros are.
Right.
So we're gonna give them the good and the bad. But man, if you can't, not everybody's D1.
Sorry,
I also think though that
sorry to say it, but not everybody's D1.
That's facts.
no, but also I also see the playing pool shrink.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not as many kids are playing sports.
Not
That
that kids are
means-
active outside.
No, not at
Do
all.
you see
Anybody
any kids outside
playing anymore?
Ours, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Besides yours, but
yeah.
like just like around the neighborhoods,
Like me
around
growing
the
up,
street.
we
There's
were out. We were out front all day.
Yes.
playing basketball, throwing a football. Even when we get in my house, me, him, and
That's it.
Trey, we would be wandering on Oakleaf with a
Yeah.
tennis racket. For what? Just because we wanted to be outside. We wanted to do something else.
I think it's also because go back another generation. Go back to my generation. There was no internet.
Being when the
Right.
streetlights come on.
Well, I want to say that again. There was no internet.
Damn, James.
Right? And kids today are being born
With internet.
into
Video
internet.
games.
They're
Right.
being born onto iPads.
Right? They're, like, that's the thing. So
I see so many young kids with iPads, and I'm like, y'all
the availability
addicted already.
is the reason why, right, you don't see kids outside. Why go outside and play football
when you can just
when
play
I
on-
can play football
Yeah.
with my buddy
On the
who lives across the street or on
Or
another
another
neighborhood
state.
or another part of the world?
yeah.
You know, I'm talking to my friend from wherever, and we're playing online. Why go outside?
Outside's better.
Because well, yeah, our perspective is better, but
Right. Yeah.
To them, that's badass.
But for them, they're like, hey, I'd rather play inside. It's chilly outside. It's cold outside. And I understand, like, depending on where you live geographically, but where we live, it's
It's usually
pretty
nice.
much
There's no reason
There's no
time
reason
to go
not to be
outside and play.
outside. Yeah.
And when
Right,
I
or
do
to
see
go to the
when I do
parks.
see kids outside, I'm like, good. Like y'all riding bikes together.
Yeah.
Good.
how about for the parent? I'm gonna give parents more credit. Go outside. They'll probably go outside and go play.
Yeah.
Good for you, parents. Like, get out. Yeah, have your kids to go out and play.
Like I remember each summer I was playing basketball with my neighbor Aaron, all 9 a.m. till
Well,
like
you know,
7 p.m.
The other thing that changed probably along your generation was the amount of. Good. You just.
It's gone.
Gone.
It is gone.
Just the amount of kids that were being taken.
Yeah,
That,
Yeah.
that was a big thing too. But I wasn't wandering out like that.
but to the degree of like where, again, media put a spotlight,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden put fear into parents and kids. What it made people more aware. Oh man, there's some really crazy people out there, and there's,
Don't talk to strangers.
if you see a white van,
Run.
go.
That's like the very most common thing. It's like you see a white van, they're like, oh, that's the rape van.
But at the end of the day, you're looking at why kids are not outside as much. Well, one,
It's technology.
technology should probably help with
Right.
going outside more, or at least like to play. Or you could say, hey, if you go outside and play for 45 minutes, then you can get 45 minutes on your Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
It's win.
You go play outside for 45 minutes just to get some time on the Xbox.
Right.
But the thing with me growing up is like I could never really sit down and play games.
But see, I think it's
I
also
always got bored.
could be a parenting thing as well. You know, parents,
I
single
was always-
moms or something like
Right.
the landscape of parenting has changed
And I was always active as a
a
kid.
little bit.
Like I was always gone from the morning, got home at like 8. Like I was never in between. Even on the weekends, I was always something for me to be
Yeah,
doing.
but Dawn wasn't playing.
Dawn was not. She
No.
she didn't want me inside the house.
She probably didn't give you a key to the house.
Mm-mm.
She was like,
No.
sit outside.
Yeah.
You can wait.
You can
She
wait
was- no,
until
she-
I get home
Yeah.
from this 12-hour shift.
Exactly. That's why I had to do after school care. I would be there till like 6 sometimes, and like this, I got all my homework done,
And you're like, I can't wait till Reggie gets home.
and say, "Yep." I'm gonna say all I'm gonna do, all I'm gonna be doing is basically just going from here straight to the sports practice, and then
Yeah.
go home and eat dinner.
Yeah.
Brandon would be the first kid at school.
I'm
and
talking.
last.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there before the teachers showed up.
Yeah.
Like at Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
And I would go. My mom would drop me off at like 5:30.
Because she has a 12-hour shift, she's gotta go run.
Yeah, but like, and then I gotta,
Yeah.
I gotta be like, I'm sitting there, and she was like, you know, sitting with me, not to let me by myself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
See a teacher, she's like, all right, I'll see you.
Gotta go.
Goes, and then I'm there all day, go to practice after school care, there till like 6. And I'm like, all right, and she's like, all right, let's go to practice. I say, okay. Like a little club practice or
Yeah,
whatever. And I
yeah.
was like, okay. Oh, there was like no art. I was just, it was so, became like with Chris too. It was always school, practice, then home. There was
Mhm.
never like, oh, let's go home real quick, change.
Yeah.
It was, she's like, I ain't gonna waste my gas. I'm going right back.
No.
She was she was on top. She was on top of it.
And if we're an hour early to practice, you're going out there and you're running.
It was either that or I had to do my homework. Like if I showed up hour
Oh, that's
early
it, yeah.
before practice,
Yeah.
she's like, get your homework out.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's when I got the most ass beatings because I was like looking at these kids playing around on the field and she's like, you can go out there once you finish your homework. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like,
But see, that goes back. So
I'm like looking at these kids having fun and I'm in the
That's-
car
that's-
just like,
that's Angel, right? The basics. Hey, you gotta get your homework done.
yeah,
Get your homework done, and then you go outside and play.
exactly.
That's why you got your ass beat.
Exactly.
Gotta do the basics.
Yeah, I guess I did it.
No, sometimes again, it's even hard to do some of the basics because you mentally get fatigued or mentally you slow down a little bit and you're like, oh God, I'm so tired, I want to do this.
But I think in the long run, it does leave like a imprint on like how the kid end up like living later on in life.
But that's,
Like to now, like even now, I'm just even talking about it. I realize I'm still the exact same way. I'm gone at the house at like 7. I don't come home till like 9 because I'm always doing
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I'm never like going back home.
No.
And then when it comes to doing work or like you know for the business, I'm like, but I have homework. I'm like, let me do the homework first.
right.
Even though I want to do the business stuff, I want to get the homework done because that's the main priority. That's always
right.
mom told me.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
school is first priority.
Yeah. So if you're giving kids advice on, you know, out of all of the times I've ever spoke to a college coach where they call and they're like, hey, can you tell me about so-and-so? And they'll ask, how are they in the weight room? Do they clean up after? This is so, I swear to God, these are some of the questions I've been asked.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what type of character they have.
Yeah.
Do they clean up after themselves? Do they encourage others? Or do they stand out? Like, they want to know who you are because you're an investment now.
Yeah.
You're becoming a product to that school.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to know if you are the right product for the school. And I've said it multiple times. Even in coaching a sport, soccer mainly, your parents didn't come out to see this bad product. Like, this is a product on the field. Like, try to provide your best product.
Yeah.
And again, it's never about the wins and losses per se. It's always about put your best foot forward, provide yourself the best product. You're going to give yourself the best opportunity to get to where you want to go. So having those opportunities, you know, the other things that they never ask, They'll ask about their strength. They'll ask sometimes like how pretty powerful. Yeah, just, we'll give them some numbers, or whatever data we have that we'll share. But none of them have said, that number wasn't a factor. Like, oh, he's only cleaning, 225 or 305, whatever. He can't play for me, or that's not good enough.
Right.
Ask about grades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the main thing.
How is he as a student?
If you can't get into the school, you can't play.
Right.
Like,
Period.
Like you can I'm gonna go D1.
At least that's what we know,
and
right?
you can have unless they have little
On the surface, at least.
On the surface, right?
Unless they have their ins and outs and things, but if you have all athleticism for the sport to go D1, but your grades ain't there, you better hope to God that school wants you that bad to pull you in for like some
Right.
type of grades that you got.
Right. Or they come up with some alternative, or they're like, hey, we have a sister college or a JUCO. We're gonna send you to the JUCO, and then you'll come up. Great, but don't wait till it gets to that to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if you were just listen, you don't have to be a 4.0 student.
No,
That's not what we're saying.
they're looking for the
What
work,
I'm saying,
the work ethic.
right? And what I'm saying is like if you're a 3.0, 3.5, 3.2, and you're consistent.
Perfect.
And
Right.
colleges are looking more for they know not everybody's gonna go from their college to the pros. They know.
Right. Well,
So they're hoping that they have a good work ethic because it will translate towards the sport, but also in the real world that when they do graduate, they may have a good work ethic to go get a job somewhere.
here's the thing. Our job, because we'll just say the main population we see are high school students, right? That want to go to the next level.
Yeah.
Okay. When we say next level, meaning college.
Yeah.
Our job is not to train them like a college athlete. It is to prepare them for the college strength coach, right? And then the college strength coach can prepare them for the professional strength coach.
That's how it
Should
be. Right.
Right? Where we're preparing them for the basics. Can you hip hinge? Can you squat? What's your single leg strength look like?
Yeah.
What is your press? Some body weight. Can you maintain your core strength?
You have balance.
Balance.
Balance is key.
And you find often, more than not, when we do our assessments, balance is an issue
Yeah.
For most.
for most. And it's because they've skipped this process of training agility, balance, coordination early on. And I think that soccer, if you start soccer early, you get that, right? Because you're dribbling a ball. So that takes agility, it takes balance, takes coordination. But again, if you don't train that regularly, then you lose it, or you never really had it neurologically, and you see kids who just don't. This kid moves weird. Well, he missed the training age is different, so you got to step back a little bit. So, yeah, it's different.
Do kids even do hopscotch anymore?
I'm sure.
Because I was a killer at
I'm
hopscotch.
sure.
It's going from one leg to two leg to one leg to one leg to two leg to one leg. Dude, I think that helped a lot.
Hopscotch is
That's a great thing for development.
Ask me how I feel about agility ladders, though.
No. How do you feel about agility ladders?
I think that you can use agility ladders for exactly that, which would be, it's not. I think they need to change the term.
Right.
Not agility.
Not just strictly agility, yeah.
Because it's not.
If they said, "Hey, we're gonna hop on the coordination ladder,"
Yes.
then I'd have like 5 coordination ladders out here,
Right.
like the Abiel. Hey, can we change the name to like back extension, shoulder extension?
Yeah, right.
Can serratus roller?
Yeah.
Something different. I mean, it does target your abs,
Yeah.
but
Also your back,
I'm
sure,
not sure what other
there's
things.
a million other things, right? So
Because I don't just feel it in my abs, I'm feeling it in my serratus,
Yeah.
my shoulders, my lower back, trying to stay tight.
Yeah.
yeah. Or hey, can we get the core wheel? How about that?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Core wheel.
I like that.
We're gonna rebrand it to core wheel. There it
Let's
is.
get it going. Let's
Core
get
wheel.
it going.
Let's
The
crate it.
core wheel.
Core wheel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, gentlemen. How long have we been doing this?
Great question.
That's the first one though. Like a good start.
I think so.
That's
Yeah.
just a warm up.
This is
We're
it.
getting basics.
There you go. Getting basics in. So I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end this.
Give him a little note to leave with.
We're gonna end this now.
We're gonna end it.
All right, gentlemen. Well,
Deuces.
later.
This is it.
Bye.
Deuce.
Sweet.
Problem with that. This bitch only caught 22 minutes.
Why was that?